tomorrow, day 2, including the finals and the final boss notebook battle. That'll start at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Countdown has begun. We're going into the game, and we are going to Sweden.
I am rubbing my tummy in anticipation. Dignitas Sjow as the Blue Terran versus LaserGaming Agh.
Agh. So now it'll take
Red
us
Terran
a little bit longer to load up here.
You know, because Agh is not exactly a word; it's more of an undulation of your throat. So I'm wondering. Look, Joe just saying fixed. Good luck, have fun.
Magic. Magic.
He's probably smiling smugly and shaking his head.
He's
going,
got
there
one of
you
those.
go.
He's got one of those light switches that turns your internet on and off. The Xbox Live players use them. Yeah.
I get
no,
you.
I don't believe that for 1 second.
So Agh in the north is the red Protoss, and in the right we have as the blue Terran Sjow spawning as the lagless Terran.
Yes. Now we did have these positions in game attempt number 1, but on the bottom, and then we had cross positions, and excuse me, not cross positions, but long way close.
Yeah, we've had all 3 possible combinations with these players, and it looks like we're settling on the one that allows for some good Banshee harassment opportunities. We've seen a lot of good done by Banshees in this matchup in these positions with harassment straight into pushing, in particular TSL Rain pulling that off against Next Genius and the GSL looking oh so suave. And it looks like Dignitas Sjow is going to be throwing down a barracks at the usual time.
There it is. Gateway is down for the Protoss as well. Went down at 12. Just now chrono boosting some probes out as well. We've got Agh making his way through the map. Looks like he might. No, just checking the gold. Make sure no shenanigans there. And the barracks about 50% done. Is just opening build. This is game 2 of the octo final between Agh and Sjow, a PVT.
And it looks like Agh just spotted at the left position, sees nothing. This can generally be a very strong indication that you don't need to make an early zealot. You can skip it, perhaps expand a little faster, tech a little faster. Haven't seen anything come out of Sjow quite yet. We'll be getting that very fast orbital command on 15. Looks like there will be a Mariner started right away. He's going to poke around his own base just to make sure no goofiness is going on, and will likely build a depot. Hey!
Depot goes down. Probe is going to take the last position, check things out. Over here on the Protoss side, Cybernetics core going down. One gas happily mining away, and just more probes being built at this point. Marine is going to come out from the ramp, and you know what? We saw this happen in the last game where, are they going to pass? Oh, he saw him. He was there. He was in his vision, but Probe is going to get a free scout here just as that Marine is popping that second Marine from the barracks.
It's going to be really annoying, the fact that no second gas down right now. That cuts down a small set of strategies that the opponent could possibly be doing, but then seeing that factory going to be very helpful. He knows there's no sort of super early expand coming. He knows that there is no sort of super Marine Marauder push coming, so he's going to hide this probe up here. This is the best hiding spot for it. It's just to the outside lip of the gas, because then you can pull off this sort of business. And there he goes, just again spotting no gas has been added yet. Very, very cool little move there by Agh. Constantly keep an eye on the geyser, and no way it's still alive. What a sly raccoon.
He finally gets taken out, but the sly raccoon cannot live any longer. Meanwhile, the Protoss base, we got a quick robo facility coming out.
Cool.
We do not even have Warp Gate started, so Stalkers making their way out, and he is rallying at least that one to LG.Agh Tower. And he's got a quick Immortal coming out almost immediately. No Observer going to be hitting that. So.
And interestingly, no Warp Gate either. So that definitely means he was completely 100% focused on getting up that as fast as possible. Warp Gate just now coming out. He just really wanted that fast Immortal. In the meantime, we see Sjow doing a very unique little build. It looks like he's going for some Hellion Marine Marauder as he did in Game 1, but also adding on a third barracks. So cool stuff from Sjow. Very unique plays as usual.
Agh now has a Stalker, an Immortal, and a single Sentry right now. Nothing coming out of that gateway. Another Immortal. A second gateway does go down, and he might have to deal with some pressure here at his ramp. Of course, Agh, with this very nicely placed pylon, is going to see some blue dots pop up on his mini-map, allowing him to at least have some indication that this attack is indeed coming. Another pylon thrown down here. Second Immortal almost out. I wonder if he will continue to pump those. But here we've got Sjow just trying to contain a little bit.
Uh-oh, looks like he knows that there's Immortals coming up, and he's going to throw down a great force field to delay the Marines and the Marauders, but the Hellion does squeeze into the back, and will Agh get it? No! Instead, he creates a nice little lineup action for himself. The two Immortals deciding that they want to hop into the fray as well. Will this Hellion get any kills? It looks like it has one right now. Oh, managing to get a good chunk of probes right there, but the two Immortals are just going to put an end to all of this. Immortals, perhaps my favorite unit in the game, if it weren't for the Zealot.
If it weren't for the Zealot, that's right. And you do a great Immortal impression, by the way.
Oh, man, we need to get that on camera at some point.
Pretty good. Two Immortals out. The Observer has also joined the party. Nothing else coming out of the robotics facility, and that's because we got an expansion going down. So Nexus is thrown down by the Protoss. He's going to send those Marines back to base, and you were talking a little bit about the Army composition, continuing those Hellions, continuing Marines and Marauders out of a tech lab and 2 reactor barracks, and throwing down just now a starport.
I mean, Sjow loves Hellions. Very cool little unit to mix in there because of the fact that you can do just a teensy bit of extra damage to those sentries, to those Zealots. Best of all, I think, is the fact that Hellions have a pretty substantial 90 life, so they can absorb a good amount of hits from those Stalkers. And whoa! Completely cancels the expansion, throws down a Stargate, throws down a Colossus Den.
That Nexus was almost done, wasn't it?
Oh, was that a misclick? I have no idea what it is that Agh saw, but that's very, very unusual.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to ask him about it. Meanwhile, we have some more Zealots coming out. Nope, Colossus now hitting, and here comes a big push. And that Colossus is getting chrono boosted, but would actually help out quite a bit in this battle, especially up there on top. Probe will come out and see this entire army right here, knows exactly what it's dealing with, and it will have some vision here. Going to take out this pylon, not quite supply blocking his opponent. Yes, he did supply block him considerably.
I'm very interested by what Agh's doing. I'm a little leery of its ability to do a lot of damage, but I mean, maybe. I mean, what's weird about these sort of like Phoenix Colossus timings is that they're very, very thin. If you can bounce in at just the right time, I mean, Agh has this very diverse unit mix, but in terms of core units, he just has one Zealot, or excuse me, one Stalker and 4 Zealots. He has these 2 Immortals, these 2 Sentries, the Colossus, no doubt the Phoenix coming up soon. I mean, I'm just very, very lost as to what his follow-up's going to be.
Yeah, supply block just momentarily. Do have a drop coming into the back. He's going to drop himself into the smoke, take out this pylon here. Could move forward, take out this pylon, and that one was just to get him out of supply block, so if he loses another one, would be bad, but he is going to have to pick up as the whole army moves out. Also reveals his Colossus as well, but that gave a few more seconds of supply blockage to Agh as he's trying to stay ahead of the game there. Meanwhile, Phoenixes are starting to come out as well, and Sjow is at least being mobile, not really content sitting back at his base. We do have the command center gone down as well, so his expansion's well underway.
Yeah, I mean, Sjow's playing this off very, very well. Clearly, this aggressive opening is unusual to deal with as Protoss, but, you know, in Sjow's spot, it looks like he's done it lots and lots of times, so feeling quite comfortable. There, the Phoenix is popping out right now. Rally to the back to spot any other drops as Agh moves down the front of his base. But I'm still feeling real concerned about this style, because you have to spend so much gas on the Phoenix that you don't end up getting this range upgrade for the Robo Bay. So, I mean, Sjow's going to have a much easier time picking those things off, especially considering that he has these range 9 Vikings.
Yeah, he's going to have to, being on one base, going to have to spend all that gas on his units and not necessarily those upgrades. And, you know, I hear a lot of people, I think I've even heard you say it a couple times, that, you know, partially that Colossus is worthless without that upgrade, but it looks like he might go on it anyway. Guardian Shield goes up, and he's going to go in for the attack.
Uh-oh, and there's a very nice spread by Sjow, getting the SCVs into the mix, but the Phoenix is absorbing quite a bit of damage, but it does not even matter. Even with Mass Marine, Sjow is just annihilating this Colossus count. That is the tragedy that happens when you get too many tech paths on just one base. It doesn't matter how clever it looks, you just don't have that much stuff.
Yeah, that was pretty nasty for Agh right there. His army now consists of 2 Zealots and a single Colossus. And as you see this stream of blue making his way up here to the Protoss base, and of course the Colossus being out front where the Vikings happily take it out. because those stalkers can't get up or almost take it out. Yeah, he will. And then pretty much finish it from here. So Observer's going to go over, check things out. I just don't see what Agh can do at this point.
Yeah, Agh is in a lot of trouble. That Nexus cancel was so weird. And there's the good game.
Wow.
I almost, you know, while we get the Game 2 set up, if you could find out what the map is, I want to go into that replay and just take another look at exactly what ended up happening.
Okay.
Because that Nexus cancel was just such a big shock. We're going to go ahead and speed this game up, as Sjow reminds us that the lag was fixed the second time. Because I do think that the Immortal Sentry mix is an extremely fun and cool way to play. I mean, we've seen Kiwi Kaki use that absolutely brilliantly, even opting to get the Immortal out before a Stalker, rushing hard for that Immortal, which I think is a very, very cool little opening. Immortals surprisingly good against Marines in small numbers, just because you have to target fire them so much that generally the Immortal doesn't even end up taking too much damage. And there was that initial push that didn't do that much damage, and Agh was looking great. Now I want to go exclusively into the Agh cam here for a moment, and I really want to begin taking his first-person perspective. We blasted right by it, successfully so. But it looks like what Agh saw was he's moving this observer around. He saw no expansion. And then he started to pull back. Yeah, it looks like the fact that there was no expansion from his opponent, and he didn't even see a command center anywhere else at all, convinced him that the Nexus cancel was a good idea, I guess. Yeah, it just cancels it right away when he sees that starport get thrown down.
Huh.
Which I think was just such a grave error, because, I mean, looking around, yeah, there's no command center, but Sjow is the sort of player who just is very clearly experienced with this build. He's spending all of his money very, very quickly. Yeah, and ends up throwing down the command center at a very reasonable time. I mean, there's nothing exactly terrible about getting some Phoenixes when you're on one base, but every single strategy should have the goal of, I want to get more bases.
Sure.
Should never, ever be when you're just saying, well, I'm going to go one base and better work. Really better work, because that push happened and there was nothing else for Agh to stand on. So it looks like the next map is going to be on...
It's going to be on, Shakuris, although I thought that Agh said Xel'Naga.
He actually said both.